could build a stairway and memories a lane, we'd walk right up to heaven and bring you back again. It broke our hearts to lose you, but you did not go alone, for part of us went with you the day God called you home.
We would sit outside on the porch, and all of a sudden, here comes Sylvia, Terry, and she'd be like, chatting away, and sometimes we'd be handing stuff. Oh, she'd be saying, "Oh, I got some of these today at the farmer's market, and I can't eat all these. Do you want some of these?" And she'd be handing me strawberries over the fence, or and I would do the same. It's like, "Hey, I got some peaches today at the farmer's market. You want some of them?" "Yeah, sure." We was always handing stuff back and forth over the fence. Of course, I was always over there digging in the dirt with her.
God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. Then he looked down upon the earth and he saw your precious face. He put his arms around you and he lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. Yes, he always takes the best.
I'm Wes, and my favorite memory of Sylvia was whenever we went to her old farmhouse and we laid out in the front yard and watched the meteor shower. And then the next day we went to the Children's Museum.
We knew that you were suffering. We knew you were in pain. We knew you'd never get well on this earth again. So he closed your weary eyes and he whispered, "Peace be thine." Then he took you up to heaven, so gentle and so kind.
One time Dana asked me to take her and Sylvia flying to go look at Christmas lights. In order to get the airplane set up correctly, I had to ask Sylvia what her weight was. And I needed to know because I can have her sit on the left side or the right side or so on and so forth. And she leans in and she goes, "It's not good to ask a woman what their weight is." And I explained the reason why I needed it. And she said, "Okay." And she whispered it in my ear and said, "Don't tell anyone else." About 20 minutes later, we're getting in the airplane and she goes, "If I lied by a little bit, is that okay?"
God looked around his garden and he found an empty place. Then he looked down upon the earth and he saw your precious face. He put his arms around you and he lifted you to rest. God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best. Oh, God's garden must be beautiful. He always takes the best.
I have so many wonderful memories of time spent with Sylvia. One year, Sylvia and I made fabric-scented coasters for Christmas gifts. Sylvia sat with a large bowl of birdseed on her lap from which she filled the fabric bags. We were discussing this scary, eerie, true story when unexpectedly there was a knock at the door. Sylvia jumped up and threw the big bowl of birdseed into the air. It rained down birdseed all over Aunt Thelma's dining room. We laughed. We laughed until we cried, and we laughed as we cleaned it up. Sylvia truly enjoyed life. Yet the joy she experienced on this earth doesn't compare to the joy she's experiencing in heaven. Love you, Sylvia.
What's the other one? Oh, look at it this way. Stop.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me.
Sylvia was always one who was full of fun, loved her family, loved helping other people do what needs to be done. She loved her gardening. And she used to babysit the kids quite a bit, and they would say that she was most fun to be around. Teresa always remembered her big shoes that she had to wear because of the braces on her legs. And also Davy always said she had so much fun, always brought life and happiness to a lot of people. She always kept you on your toes to keep you going. She will always be remembered. Daryl said she just enjoyed being around families, that family values were very, very important to her. To me, she was one of my nieces, and of course we had many, but it's just sad to see her go. But we know that she has run a good race, and she's fought the good fight, and that she's now has gained her reward. So Sylvia, rest in peace, and we'll see you on the other side.
I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
She loved wildflowers, and we saw lots of lady slippers, both ruby red ones and white ones, and another wildflower called trillium. And I think there was some jack-in-the-pulpit flowers, and she loved wildflowers. So I'm just so glad we got to do that, because it's not a funny story, but just a sweet insight into the things that she loved. She was a true blessing to my life.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Sylvia, as a part of my family's life, has been an unbelievable blessing, especially to our kids, as she worked as a nanny for so many years for us. Even though at times in Kelly I hear Sylvia's voice, for instance in the car when someone honks their horn, I hear Kelly yelling, "Honk it yourself," and then I can picture Kelly in the car with Sylvia learning those wonderful traits. Sylvia was a great example and a great person in our kids' lives, and we'll always be thankful for that.
I can remember coming home from school after a long day working with small children, coming home and I'd hear funny noises in the house. I'd walk in, I'd see Sylvia standing there, and the kids giggling, and they'd be like under the couch with a fort built around them, different things. Another day came home and Kelly had different colored spaghetti like all over her legs, and it was one of the things that they had done at play school and at Crossroads, and Sylvia had done again at the house to get Kelly used to different tactile things and learning colors. It was always interesting coming home. I didn't know what to expect. Sylvia, I think so much for taking care of my kids and so much for being a part of our family.
So I've known Sylvia for most of my life. She's always been very supportive. About 10 years or so ago, I had just started publishing some of my first philosophy papers, and she printed all of them out and she asked me to autograph all of them. I guess she said, one day you're going to be famous. So, and the thing is too, like, most people don't actually read any of the stuff I publish because it's very technical and boring, but she actually read it all too. So it wasn't just wanting an autograph, she actually read it because that's how supportive she was of me. So I miss you dearly, and I'll see you on the other side.
Hey Sylvia, it's me. I miss you, and I wish you were here. And I wish I could see you again. And thank you for letting me spend the night and watching Little Women and Sunny Delight. And I wish I could see you again.
Said goodbye, turned around, and you were gone, gone, gone. Faded into the setting sun. Slipped away, but I won't cry, 'cause I know I'll never be lonely. For you are the stars to me. You are the light.
Hi, I am Andrea, the Activities Director at Garden View Care Center of Chesterfield. Sylvia Brooks, she was the light and the joy of the memory care unit. She was just always bubbly, happy, outgoing. My most favorite thing about Sylvia is you never knew what she was going to say or the next thing that was going to happen. The wheels were always turning. She always was caring and worrying about her friends over there. As some of you know, there was the girl gang. They were all 5 peas in a pod. They were always, where one was, there was the other 4. And I always like to say that I'm pretty sure Sylvia was the leader of all the pods and the peas. She was a light that will never be forgotten. And we will always forever remember and cherish you, Sylvia.
She wants to see you. I've known her for years. She wants you. Sing. There. Yes. I fell into a burning heart, and it burns, burns, burns. Oh, damn it. It burns, burns, burns. Bring the fire.
I'll see you again. Oh, this is not where it ends. I will carry you with me. Oh, till I see you again.
When I think about Sylvia, I think she was trying to turn me into an Indiana Hoosier, because when I would go visit, we would, drive around and go learn history things. We'd go to Lou Wallace's house. But one of the things I always remember is that she would always just kind of slow down the car or stop the car in the middle of the road when there was wildlife. So one night we were driving along. Actually, it was probably, dusk, so we could still see pretty well. And she's like, "Oh, what's that in the road?" And I'm like, "Well, I think it's a possum." She's like, "Well, you think it's dead?" I said, "I don't know, probably dead." And then all of a sudden, the possum's hand comes up, its eyes open up, and it just as if it was like coming to grab you. And I don't know if you know what a possum's, paw/hand looks like. It looks a lot like a human hand. So of course, for years after that, Sylvia would always be like, "The hand is coming to get you."
A recent memory that I cherish happened when I was visiting Sylvia. Dana and Diane were both there. Sylvia was resting. We didn't know if she was sleeping or just quietly listening with her eyes closed. We were talking and chit-chatting and laughing and teasing and trying to keep the conversations upbeat. And we were talking about the 3 of us being sisters. And, well, of course, I'm the favorite. And we were kind of laughing. But when we finished the conversation, I kind of leaned over to Sylvia and I said, "I'm not really a sister." I was afraid that maybe I was confusing her in her current state. And she opened her eyes, looked at me and said, "Oh, yes, you are." In just that Sylvia cadence and tone. it kind of took my breath away, and I'm grateful to that because I feel like she accepted me as part of the family, and that will always be treasured. Sylvia, wow, I loved having you in my life and in my children's lives. You're a special, special lady. I will miss you and love you forever.
I want to thank Diane and Dana Griesker and Jim Williams for all that they have done to help Sylvia have the final part of her life very nice.